Hey you guys, Jessie here from Urban Legends Antiques, and this week I'm doing a collab with three of the girls from my business coaching group. It's called the Creatives Collab. So we're doing a thrift flip. The rules are we have to send a piece to someone in the group, and then whatever we get, we have to flip. One of the girls, Melissa from ReDesign, she sent us all some of the new release from ReDesign by Prima, so we each got to try out one thing. So let's get started.
Hey everyone, I'm Jasmine with Handcrafted from Home. I drew Jessie's name and I'm excited, but I'm also nervous because the product she's using, I couldn't really find anything when I was there for a little bit. I did find myself a bunch of things, but then after circling the store, probably 3 or 4 different times as they brought out new product, I was able to find a few options for her, and I cannot wait to see what she does with it. She crushes DIY projects and she has such a unique, beautiful style that is all her own.
Oh, thank you, Jasmine. That's so sweet of you. I better bring my A game this week because I'm working with some serious creatives. I got it. I got it. I want to open it so bad. I don't know how you guys cannot open it. I just walked in the door. Oh, I want to open it right now. I was so excited to get this box. I love giving gifts and getting gifts, and it's so much fun. I'm like a kid at Christmas time. I cannot wait. But I was a good girl. I waited this time. This is the night before I start my projects, and I was so excited to tear into this box. Yes, I literally dove into the box. The second thing that I pulled out was this cute little trinket box. And the third thing that I pulled out was this orange pitcher. Oh my goodness, that color. Wow. Well, she told me she was sending me 3 things. So my 3 things are orange pitcher, cool box, like what is that, a hexagon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, octagon. These guys, I don't know if she meant to send me these. I gotta check with her. Price tags and Christmas tray. Thank you. I was so excited. I got up early the next morning, made coffee, and got ready to work. I chose Carts & Millie Boutique Furniture Paint to use for these projects. The 2 colors I chose was Pine Trees and the Blue Hole. I also got this really cool decoupage paper from Melissa at Vintage Bee Design. I'm not sure if Jazzy meant to send me price tags or not, but they're mine now. Thank you. I was really excited about this octagon tray that she had sent me. I think this is what I'm going to use the decoupage paper on, and it was $2.99. This type of picture is hard to paint because it's shiny, so I didn't sand it. I just figured I would try the paint out as is, and it was $1.99. And the cute little octagon box she sent me was $1.99 as well. So here's the products that I am planning on using in this video. The Carts & Millie paint and the decoupage paper. Melissa sent us each something from ReDesign by Prima from their new release, and you can purchase all of those items on her website. She carries the entire release. I chose decoupage paper, but to be honest, when I saw what was being offered from Prima, I was in love. So I purchased some stamps as well, which I'm gonna use. Sorry, I kind of broke the rules. And then she sent me some free transfers, which I used as well. So I really broke the rules. Sorry. Okay, now I'm pouring my first cup of coffee and my don't tell me what to do cup. And that means that it's time to paint. I'm giving this tray a good wipe down with a bleach wipe before I start painting. I'm going to pour my paint into this little bowl right here. The color I chose was the Blue Hole from Carts & Millie, and I was reading one of her blog posts and she was talking about how it's a special place in Australia where they would go swimming at, and they called it the Blue Hole, and I thought that was so sweet. I bought the paint because of that story. Here's the first coat going on. I've wet my brush down, and as I'm painting I can see the design of the little birds and the leaves underneath, so this is going to need a second coat. Here's the second piece that I'm going to work on. I'm just giving it a quick inspection and giving it a wipe down with the bleach wipes. Before I start painting, time for another coffee break. Cheers. The color of the paint that I'm using on this little box is called Pine Tree, and I've got my brush really wet, and I'm trying to do a whitewash technique, so I'm trying to offload as much paint as possible before I start to paint. You can see my nosy little dog in the background over there. She's waiting for a treat. So as you can see, the paint is very thin down, which is exactly what I wanted for this whitewash technique that I'm going to try, because afterwards I'm planning on stamping over it. The box is getting the same treatment as the lid. I've thinned the paint down a lot and offloaded a whole bunch, and I'm giving it a very light coat. I'm moving on to this shiny picture. I'm a little nervous about this one. I'm going with green over this red. I'm not a fan of this red orangey color, so I'm going to try to give it an updated look. I did nothing to prep this piece other than give it a wipe down with bleach wipes. I didn't sand it or do any of the special little tricks that we do as painters. I want to see how the paint is going to react with the gloss on the picture. While I was painting the other two pieces, this one had a chance to dry, and now I'm giving it a second coat of paint. I'm giving a second coat of paint to the picture, and it's starting to fight back a little bit. It looks like I'm reactivating the paint underneath, and it's starting to come up. So this is being a little bit difficult for me to paint. I'm having to almost dab the paint on and be very careful with it instead of like brushing it on, so that way the first coat doesn't release from the picture. Okay, I love damask print anything, and one of the new stamps from Prima is a damask print. So I bought this from Melissa, and she shipped it to me with the decoupage paper she sent me. Thank you so much. I love it. Melissa says to give your stamp a light sanding to scuff it up before you start using it, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going back in with the same paint that I used for the box, and I'm painting it onto the stamp. I know it's recommended to use an ink stamp and a brayer, but I don't have that stuff. This is my first time trying it, so this is what I'm doing instead. The beauty of trying things out for the first time, especially with this type of paint, is if you mess up, you can just paint over it and try again. So here's my first time ever stamping. I'm just going right down and pressing the box onto the stamp. The box has a little bit of a curve to it, so I'm rolling it back and forth across the stamp to see if I could get like a good coverage. Ta-da! Looks good. Now that I have an idea of how it will work, I'm going to stamp the whole box in the same way. Looks good, not bad for my first time ever doing this. I've decided to try the stamp out in a different way, so I'm pressing down onto the lid, and this is not working very well, as you can see. So instead of doing it that way, I flipped it over the other way, and I'm trying to lift the stamp up and press it onto the lid. So that seemed to work better than what I had originally tried. If I were to do this again, I would do what I had done with the base and rock the lid onto the stamp. But you know, the fun of doing this stuff is also experimenting and trying different ways and learning new techniques. Now that I've got the sides done, I'm going to take the stamp off of the top. I've left it while I was stamping the edges just in place, and yeah, that's a hot mess. Here's where we're at on these three pieces so far. The tray is drying beautifully. This is gonna have decoupage paper on it. My stamped box, I'm letting it dry while I figure out what I'm going to do with it. And the picture, I'm not sure what to do with it. I'm letting it dry. It's still wet, and I'm trying to figure out what my plan is for it. I decided to go ahead and paint the inside of the box in pine trees as well. I couldn't just leave it alone. It was bugging me. Especially if I'm gonna sell it. I want it to have a nice uniform look. I'm getting ready to put the decoupage paper on this tray. This is Skull Chinoiserie. I love this decoupage paper from ReDesign by Prima. Melissa carries all of the new releases from ReDesign by Prima on her website, Vintage Bee Design, which I will put in the description box below the video. I didn't video all of this, but I messed with this paper for a long time. I was trying to figure out the best placement of the decoupage paper onto the tray because I wanted to get the flowers in it. I wanted the skulls in it. I wanted the sun in it. I just thought it was so beautiful and I didn't want to waste any of it. I wanted to highlight as much of it as possible. But in the end, I decided to go with the rising sun in the middle of the tray. Ugh, I can't believe I did this. I cut right through that flower instead of cutting around it to save it for another project. But I was so focused on trying to get the cut perfect for the tray that I messed up and did that. Nah. But look how beautiful it looks. It's gonna be so gorgeous when it's done. I'm super excited. I know in a lot of my other videos, you guys see me use the strip method where I tear the decoupage and then I paint it onto a piece. So this time I'm doing something different. I'm just gonna paint a whole complete decoupage piece onto the tray, but I'm sticking with my tried and true method with the Elmer's glue where I mix 1 part water to 3 parts glue and I mix it up. There are a lot of other decoupage mediums out there that you can use, but Elmer's glue is my go-to. It's my tried and true and I'm comfortable with it. Now I'm painting it onto the tray with a big brush. You want to get a nice thick coat of the glue painted onto your piece before you apply your decoupage paper. Here we go. I'm putting the decoupage paper on. This is a really nice decoupage paper. It's thick. It has like the feel almost of a dryer sheet. It's got a weave to it and it was actually really easy to place. It didn't fold or buckle or in any way. I had to actually press it down into the curves to get it to stick. And now that that's all done, you go back over the top of the decoupage paper with the same glue and you paint it on. You want to put a really nice thick coat of the glue down on top of the paper as well. Because this is a thicker paper than what I'm used to using, I'm using my fingers and I'm pressing the paper and the glue down into the corners just to make sure that it sticks really, really well. Now that I know my corners are going to stick really, really well, I'm using a box cutter and I'm cutting along that corner really, really carefully so that way I have a nice clean cut line between the decoupage paper and the tray. Here's the box where I messed up the top. Hot mess. I decided I was going to put some transfers on it and Melissa had kindly sent me these cute little Botanical Paradise transfers to place on it. I'm not going to show you how I did it though. You're going to have to watch Jazzy's video to see how to use these new transfers. I've decided to just give this picture a coat of white wax, which I'm going to then rub and buff out. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Urban Legends Antiques, and I have a website with items available to ship, www.urbanlegendsantiques.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, as well as all of the other girls in this collab for more fun DIY tips and tricks. I've taken the tray and the box outside, and I'm spraying them both down with some clear coat to give them a nice finish. And here they are, all done. All 3 pieces thrifted and flipped. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for sending me these pieces to work on. And thank you again, Melissa, for sending me these beautiful transfers and the decoupage paper. Stay tuned to see whose name I drew in the thrift flip. I drew Brianna from Upcycle by Bree to send a thrifted item to, and I chose a set free thrift store in Yucaipa, California. It has special meaning.
Time to find out. I literally have no clue. Maybe a clock.
Spoiler alert, it's not a clock. You're gonna have to watch her video to see what she got and how she flipped it.
But it's super cool. Oh my goodness. Hold on.
All right, well, that's it for this week. Once again, I'm Jessie from Urban Legends Antiques, and thanks for coming along for the ride.